Welcome to the Greenway with Mac, a channel dedicated to active transportation. Today's video is part of a series from Valencia, Spain. The metro system has a list of 18 bike routes that start at one metro station and end at another one. This is Route 17, and it links the metro station in Llíria to one in Rafelbunyol. This is part 1 and covers the first 5.5 miles. The whole route is 21 miles, and you'll see a mixture of city, forest, and orchard, spending much of the time hugging the Serra Calderona mountain range. On our left is the end point of the Llíria Via Verde, or what we would call the Llíria Greenway in English. This connection is a former railroad corridor that takes you down to the Llíria River, where you can make your way back to Valencia mostly off-street. You can expect a video on that route soon. Today's ride is for advanced riders only. As you can see, we start off by riding in the street with vehicles for a few miles. But then we will hit some pretty steep hills along the mountains. Today's journey can be done in 3 to 4 hours, plus your stops. I was actively riding for 5 hours, but that included a side trip to Olocau and a long detour due to a missed turn. Llíria is about 14 miles northwest of Valencia and can be reached by bike or on Line 2 of the metro system. Stay to the right here. Once again, you're joining Carrer de Juan Izquierda. This 100-yard stretch is one-way traffic heading towards you, so you may want to walk your bike. Llíria is a very old city. The original settlement was actually on a nearby hilltop called Sant Miguel. It was originally settled by the Iberians 2,500 years ago and was called Edetta. The Romans destroyed Edetta in 76 BC and then built in this location. At the time, Llíria was just as important as the larger modern cities of Valencia and Sagunto. If you are interested in geography and history, then there are some unique sites to see here. On our right, there are Roman ruins that are worth stopping to see. It's a bit of a hike, but on top of the hill is the Archaeology Museum of Llíria. The exhibits are limited, but the views of the region are impressive. Next to the museum is the Church of the Blood, also called the Church of Santa Maria. There are also several other churches, in addition to Roman baths. Llíria has about 23,000 residents and is one of the fastest growing areas in all of Spain. Like many cities surrounding Valencia, Llíria's economy also leans heavily on agriculture, but textiles and construction materials are also important. Llíria is actually known as the City of Music. In fact, there are 2 rival wind orchestras, the Banda Primativa and Unió Musical, that have been dividing the town for over 100 years. Strava said the elevation change for today's ride was 1,600 feet, and most of it was in short bursts prior to reaching the town of Nájera. That stretch is covered in part 2 of this video, so if you're looking to avoid big hills, then you may want to do just what you see in this video. We are going to enter our protected bike lane on the opposite end of this traffic circle. Safely enter it and take your second right. Once we are here, the ride becomes much more relaxing. The next 4.5 miles in this video are separated from traffic other than the occasional intersection to cross. Pedestrians and cyclists are both given plenty of space on the path and even have a divider to define each other's space and prevent interactions. This section is especially nice because we go under the main highway to Llíria and its interchanges because it is low stress and low effort. These paths lead through less dense areas of the Llíria and provide a safe, car-free way of accessing the city center. There are a few access points that we are passing, but unfortunately, they don't form part of a larger network of protected lanes. While it is nice to have this spine for the bikers and walkers, there's a lot of room for improvement by adding protected connections to this path. At quick glance, it did look like they may have been doing that as part of this construction project. That road leads to a sports complex, and having safe, car-free access to it greatly reduces the need to drive. Inside Valencia, they have gotten really good about this, but it is hit or miss in the less populated areas. This park on the right is called Labyrinth because they have a maze made from little bushes. If you're riding with little ones, then this is a neat place to take a break. Look at this beautiful tree-lined stretch right here. Why would you choose to drive when you could enjoy the sounds and the smells of nature? Does your city have off-street paths that connect to other neighborhoods? Let me know in the comments. On our right is actually the top-rated attraction in Llíria on TripAdvisor, the St. Vincent Municipal Park. I stopped here to explore and really enjoyed it. It's shady throughout, there is a little lagoon, and there's a playground. I think this is the best place to rest along the stretch covered in this video. After the park, we keep heading northeast towards CV 333, which is where part 1 of this trip ends. CV just stands for Comunitat Valencia, and you'll see those initials on the highways under the region's jurisdiction. To the right are 2 residential neighborhoods, San Miguel and San Vicente. Bicimetro actually wants us to turn right here and take side streets to cut the corner to CV 333. I was pretty happy in the protected bike lane and kept following it to see how long it would last. It does meet up with the Bicimetro route in about 4 miles. The problem with the Bicimetro routes is that they are not very clear in their instructions. For example, this is what they had to say to cut this corner at this bar on the right. Quote, "After the bar, we will turn right on this road and continue on it until reaching the next junction where a sign indicates the Oasis de San Vicente housing estate on our right. We then turn left and go around the estate and come across the fence of the retirement home, which has tiles with the name of the path we have to take, Camí de la Masía del Capellà. The path turns into a side street of the housing estate, and after crossing 2 roads, it becomes a dirt road and goes across dry farming fields and orange groves." End quote. So I could have gone that way, but again, protected lanes that keep me away from cars are almost always my preference. This ride is a pretty good demonstration of how Valencia and its suburbs are laid out. In the cities themselves, the density can be pretty high. But once you get out of the city, you see how much open space there is. Valencia has a ton of farmland and has been a farming culture for centuries. You see this not only where we are now to the west, but Valencia has a ton of farmland both to the north and south. This is a major reason why the food at the farmers' markets here tastes better than most places. It didn't travel far for you to buy it. This residential area is Marines. Originally, this community was up in the mountains, north of Olocau. The flood of 1957 that devastated the Valencia city center also devastated the mountain town of Marines with rock slides. Most of the homes were destroyed, and so the residents moved to this location. The original location still has some people living there and is referred to as Marines Viejo, or Old Marines. Both areas are governed together despite the two urban centers. One thing that Spain does well is separate bikes and pedestrians in traffic circles. Intersections are the most dangerous places for people outside of vehicles, so getting these right can literally be lifesavers. These traffic circles keep bikes and pedestrians from riding next to each other and fighting for space. First, crossings are made at 90-degree angles to increase visibility. Second, concrete islands are used to shorten the distance that one is exposed to the traffic. Some drivers will stop for you, but I always assume that they won't, especially outside of city centers. I stopped and spoke with this woman for a few minutes. She is the one who advised me to go to Olocau, which is covered in my side trips video. You'll be able to choose your own adventure at the end of this video. Either Olocau or continue to Rafelbunyol in part 2 of this video. Cross this road and then choose either direction. Take a left for the side trip to Olocau, or go right and head for the hills on your way to Rafelbunyol. Hit like if you've enjoyed the video, and subscribe to see where I go next. I hope you have enjoyed the trip, and I'll see you on the next Greenway.